sorry, I think there will be like an issue with supply, as we see right now with GPUs. There simply isn't enough supply. If there would be enough supply, the difficulty would jump up. The mining wouldn't be so profitable. Maybe it would go like to the minimum. We would have minimum profits. So
correct. It would be essentially the bear market style, right?
Yeah, but yes, but if the hardware isn't optimized, and so you have like a price rising, and you also need to have a difficulty rising at the same speed. And if the difficulty is not rising so fast, it stays behind, and then you have more and more hardware, which draw more and more power, which is causing issues. Right, we're seeing right now with Russia and I think Kosovo.
They're seeing the strain on it because the incentive is there to more hardware production.
Exactly, and then you have more power consumption, and it's just like a rabbit hole. You go more power, more hash rate until you reach that point of like how do you call it?
Equilibrium.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that if there will be new devices, they really have to be efficient to match up the price. To match up the price for the difficulty.
I mean, I think the incentives are structured in a way that the producers are literally like you can see the tech stack as it went since back in like 2011, where you had kind of super inefficiency. They were at the back of the bus when it came to like the fabrication on the silicon side. So like they were at 14 nanometer, 20 nanometer. And now Bitcoin mining in most ASIC architectures at the front of the stack, right, where they're leading the investment piece, from we see Intel's coming out with a new chip with very low wattage. They're at the tip of the spear. So they're now at that trying to push for 5 nanometer architecture and fabrication. So, and then the incentive is there for them to try to drive that tooling faster than even the commercial market, because the output of like the commercial stuff, like at the 7 nanometer level, like for like AMD and Intel, and I mean I think even NVIDIA, like when we switch back to GPUs, like NVIDIA, most of our architecture was like 8 nanometer. They're not even at the 7 nanometer. Some of their stuff is going to be 7 nanometer, but like they have no real hard requirement to like drive that even faster from a power savings or in that, because their capability of output is, frames per second on a video game using features and stuff. So like it doesn't have the same motive to drive the wattage down and all that because it's so tied to like ops costs. So, I think it's a natural progression that it's going to try to drive down, the architecture. It's just really on the GPU side and the people that can buy things at, local stores. I'm actually surprised. If I was making a prediction in 2016, I would have said if Bitcoin would have hit these different levels and some of these other coins, Ethereum hitting 4,800, who would have thought it? We would have seen a much more proliferation into the retail space with like having very custom setups, or, even like Bitcoin miners in like the USB miners, and shout out to the few folks that have won a few blocks on it.
Yeah, exactly.
But having those like at micro centers and like Best Buys and all these different retail locations, like having those just on the shelves too, right? Like there's an entire market of people that'd be like, oh, I'm going to buy this graphics card. Oh, I can buy a USB miner for $90, right? I'll just do that too, right? And seeing a retail push, because it comes back to that whole story where you can become a participant. I've always looked at it like participation first, then start to understand the dynamics, and then you can start to chart out like, are you trying to make this passive income or anything else, right? Participation always first. That way you get to understand the market, because there's going to be some people that think they want to be miners and then they try it. And I always tell people on the channel, I'm like, start with one GPU. Don't go buy a big setup. Like, understand what you're getting into. Don't get buyer's remorse type of stuff. So start small, understand the network, understand how to move coins around, secure your wallet, all that, then scale up if you're comfortable with it and want to put the time into it. And I think that's where that retail push allows people to kind of get 1-2 things at a time and then scale up. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting, with the ESG talks right now, and you were looking at the different countries dealing with like the immediate growth on power, and it all comes back down to, hash rate always, it's a rolling wave. So price goes up, hash rate follows like a wave behind it.
Yeah.
and it kind of tells off, and the price sets down. That wave is still a little higher, and then it'll recede if profitabilities hit a certain I would say global average kilowatt per hour cost, which like 12 to 14 cents. If you hit equilibrium at 12 to 14 cents on like an S19, you're going to figure out like if they're at that, which I think right now is like $25,000 Bitcoin price, 22,000, somewhere around there at 14 cents per kilowatt, is where those folks will be even. And then on the GPU side and Ethereum side, it's like 1.7 terahash. It's like almost double where it's at right now at like $3,000. So it's like we're seeing it at almost 900. It hit 1 petahash, the Ethereum network did, but it's still highly profitable. And comparable to a lot of other times. And
exactly, I think people are like screaming all around that it's not profitable to mine anymore, but in reality, it's still very profitable. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, it's if Ethereum, and then we get back into this little baby bear market that we're in right now, and it looks like there's a lot of struggle. I don't know if we hold these levels. I mean, I see people talking like 20,000 stuff. It's a different time. Like there's a lot more. The liquidity stack is a lot different. The opportunity stack's a lot different. The engagement level's completely different, right? Where you have people that now have accounts. The first step is get an account and then tie some other kind of revenue piece to it, and then some kind of funding source. And then you look at in 2017 run up and then pull back. Infrastructure was built during that time. So now there's all these different locations. I mean, PayPal, Robinhood, Webull, all these like quick apps that people can be like, oh, it looks down, I'm going to buy some, right? I was out, and you're looking at retail, chew it up right now.
Yeah, exactly.
36,000, but
yeah, another.